What if a secret from the past could destroy everything you thought you knew about your family? And what if that very secret is the key to your freedom and true happiness? In this video, I will share a story that proves the truth always finds its way, even if it's painful. Are you ready to discover who is hiding behind the family secrets, and why having the courage to face your fears is the only path to inner peace? Then listen to this story and prepare yourself for some shocking revelations. Secrets of the past. In a quiet, secluded town surrounded by dense forests and misty valleys, there lived a young woman named Olivia. Her life seemed calm and measured. Every morning she went to the local store where she worked as a shop assistant. After work she would walk through the woods, enjoying the silence and nature, and in the evenings she would settle in at home with a book or a cup of tea. Everything was predictable and peaceful until one day, something happened that would forever change her view of the world. It happened on a rainy autumn day. The sky was covered with gray clouds and raindrops drummed on the roof of the house. Olivia decided to finally sort out the old attic she had long ignored. There were many old things, dusty boxes, and forgotten memories. She carefully climbed the stairs, feeling the raindrops tapping on the roof and the air filled with the scent of dampness and time. "Maybe there's something interesting here," she whispered, wiping dust from a wooden beam. "Or at least something that's worth throwing away." She began to go through the old things when suddenly she noticed something unusual in the corner, a sealed box covered in a layer of dust and cobwebs. It was slightly raised as if someone had moved it recently. Olivia bent down to take a closer look. "What is this?" she whispered, carefully reaching out her hand. "Maybe it's something important." She slowly lifted the lid and inside found neatly folded letters, photographs, and an old diary with a battered leather cover. Olivia's heart began to beat faster. She felt she had found something very important, something that could change everything. "This is something special," she whispered, holding the diary in her hands. "Maybe it's a family secret?" She sat down on the floor, stretched out her legs, and carefully opened the diary. The pages were filled with handwritten notes from her grandmother who had died many years ago. Olivia began to read, immersing herself in memories. Each page revealed new details about her grandmother's life, her dreams, fears, and secrets. But what struck her most were the entries about a mysterious person connected to her grandmother who had disappeared without a trace many years ago. "Who are you?" Olivia whispered, feeling a burning desire to know the truth. The more she read, the clearer the picture became. Her father, whom she had always considered an exemplary man, was involved in the disappearance of this mysterious person. The diary spoke of betrayal that destroyed lives and left unhealed wounds. Olivia abruptly closed the diary and leaned back, overwhelmed by shock. "No, this can't be true," she whispered, clenching her fists. How could he? Inside, everything tightened with pain and betrayal. Her heart pounded harder as if trying to break free from her chest. Thoughts raced through her mind. Why did he hide this? Why didn't I know anything? Mom never told me anything, she whispered, staring into space. And what if it's all true? She stood up, slowly pacing the room, and suddenly felt a surge of determination. "I have to find out the whole truth," she said firmly to herself. "I can't live in ignorance anymore." Olivia picked up her phone and dialed the number of her best friend, Ryan, who had always been there for her in difficult times. "Ryan, I need to talk to you." "It's important," she said, trying to hide the excitement in her voice. "What happened?" he asked with concern. "I found something in my grandmother's old diary. There are mentions of a person who was long thought to have disappeared. And there's something about my father," she paused. "I think he was involved." "Are you sure?" Ryan asked. "I don't know. But I have to figure it out. I can't live in ignorance anymore." Olivia put down the phone and began to think. Why did he hide it? She quietly asked herself, looking at the pages covered in handwriting. Why didn't he tell me anything? At that moment, there was a knock at the door. Olivia felt her heart leap into her throat. She slowly got up and opened the door. Her mother was standing on the threshold, her eyes full of fatigue and anxiety. "Mom, I found the diary," Olivia said, trying to remain calm. "There's a lot in it, about Grandma, about you, about Dad." Her mother sighed and sat down on a chair, lowering her head. "I was afraid you'd find out. Afraid everything would fall apart," she whispered. "But I have to know the truth," Olivia said firmly. "I can't live in ignorance." Her mother looked at her and finally said, "Then listen. It all began many years ago when your grandmother, young and full of dreams, met a man whose name was lost to time, like a star that faded in the abyss of night. His eyes were as dark as a bottomless ocean, and his voice a melody that could soothe even the most troubled soul. He came into her life like a gentle wind, bringing with him the scents of spring flowers and promises of unknown happiness. It was an era when the world seemed endless and every morning a new beginning. Grandmother, with her light curls and dreamy gaze, could not have imagined that this mysterious man would become everything to her, a friend, a lover, a secret she kept in her heart like a precious gem shining in the twilight. They met in an abandoned park, where time seemed to stand still. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating magical patterns on the ground, and their laughter floated through the air like music, filling the space with happiness. He told her stories about distant lands and incredible adventures, and she, enchanted, absorbed every word as if they were drops of rain in a parched land. But happiness, as often happens, turned out to be fragile. On one of those days when the sky was overcast, Grandmother learned that this man was not just a wanderer. His past was shrouded in mystery, and shadows hid in his eyes that she could not decipher. He was on the run, and his life was full of danger. Grandmother faced a choice. Stay with him, risking everything, or leave him to preserve her own safety. Then in that fateful moment, when her heart was torn between love and fear, her son, your father, became a witness to this drama. He was still young, but already understood that the choice his mother made would change everything. Grandmother, full of resolve, decided to leave everything behind, but at the very moment she was about to go with him, he disappeared. The man, whom almost no one knew, vanished like morning mist, leaving behind only the whisper of the wind and the sweet taste of nostalgia. Since then, Grandmother never spoke of him, but sometimes a spark would light up in her eyes when she looked at old photographs, and I knew. This secret, this love, remained in her heart forever. And your father, who made that difficult choice, became for her the very protector who shielded her from storms, but also from the happiness that could have changed everything. That evening, Olivia couldn't sleep. She returned to her room and for a long time thought about what her mother had told her. Questions kept spinning in her head. Questions she couldn't find answers to. Who was this stranger really, and what did he have to do with her? Her mother was hiding something, and she decided to reread her grandmother's diary, hoping to find the key to the mystery of her whole life. She carefully turned the first page, and before her opened handwritten lines full of tenderness and longing. Grandmother wrote about her youth, about dreams and fears, about people she loved and was afraid to lose. But among these pages, a note suddenly appeared that immediately caught Olivia's attention. I must tell you about the man I loved, Grandmother wrote. He was everything to me, but fate decided otherwise. I will never forget him, even if he disappeared from my life forever. Olivia felt her heart beat faster. Who was this man? Why did Grandmother write so much about him? And what happened to him? She kept reading, and with every page, new images arose in her imagination. Grandmother described her youth, full of hope and passion, and told about meeting the mysterious person who forever changed her fate. He was a stranger, Grandmother wrote. But in his eyes I saw something special. He spoke of the world, of freedom, of a love that could overcome any obstacles. We met in secret in the woods outside town, and I felt that our union was something real, something that no one should ever know about. Olivia held her breath. Who was this man? Why did Grandmother hide him? And what happened that led to his disappearance? Further in the diary, the lines became more anxious. Grandmother wrote that their secret meetings had been noticed and that someone had started following her. Her notes were filled with anxiety, fear, and despair. I know someone is watching me, Grandmother wrote. I feel strange eyes on me, hear rustling behind the walls. I'm afraid that all this could end badly. But I can't leave him. I love him. And I will do everything to be with him, no matter what. Olivia felt a tightness inside. Who was this man? Why was Grandmother so afraid? And what happened on the day when everything fell apart? She kept reading and suddenly came across a page that shook her to the core. There was a description of the disappearance, not just of a person, but of an entire story hidden behind a family secret. He disappeared so suddenly, Grandmother wrote. One day he was just gone. I searched for him everywhere, asked neighbors, friends, but no one had seen anything. Then I realized someone had betrayed him. Someone from our own. And I'm afraid the truth will remain hidden forever. Olivia felt the blood drain from her face. Thoughts spun in her head. Who could have betrayed this man? Why did the family hide the truth? And what exactly happened on that fateful day? She kept reading, and at the end of the diary found another note, written, judging by the handwriting, after the disappearance. I know the truth hurts, Grandmother wrote. But I can't stay silent any longer. The time will come and all secrets will be revealed. Then everyone will know who he was and what happened to him. And maybe then we can finally be free from this burden. Olivia closed the diary and took a deep breath. Before her, an entire chapter of family history, covered in secrets and betrayals, had opened up. She realized that her family had been hiding much more than she could have imagined, and that this very secret connected to the disappearance of the mysterious person lay at the heart of their entire story. She felt a burning desire to learn everything to the end. Who was this man? Why did his disappearance start a chain of events that ruined lives? And what role did her relatives play in all this? Olivia knew that now her path was the path to the truth, and she would not stop until she uncovered all the secrets of the past, even if it would cost her everything. The silence in the room felt especially oppressive. Olivia sat by the window, holding her grandmother's old diary, trying to process what she had heard. Inside, everything was clenched with pain and confusion. She couldn't believe that her father, the man she had always considered the model of honesty and kindness, was involved in the disappearance of the mysterious person her grandmother had written so much about. She remembered his face, kind, caring, always ready to help. But now everything seemed different. A terrible thought crept in: maybe he wasn't who he seemed to be? Why, she asked herself. Why did he hide it? What was he afraid to lose? An inner conflict raged. On one side, love and trust for her father; on the other, the terrible truth that destroyed everything she knew about her family. She felt as if she was being squeezed in a vice. Maybe he did it for me, she thought. For our reputation? Or was he a victim himself? She remembered his words when he said he did everything to protect the family for her future. But now it all seemed like a lie. Everything was hidden to protect someone or something. What if he was part of it himself? She whispered, feeling everything inside turn upside down. Maybe he betrayed not only that person but me too? Inside, love, anger, and disappointment fought. She felt she had to figure out what really happened. Why did her father stay silent? And what was he hiding? She stood up, slowly pacing the room, and suddenly felt a surge of determination. I have to know the whole truth, she said firmly. The next day she went to the city library to look for old newspapers and archives. There she found articles about the missing man, about the conflict, about the rumors that had circulated in the town many years ago. Everything pointed to the fact that the disappearance was connected to a secret love. In the evening, sitting by the window, she once again held her grandmother's diary, rereading the pages where her grandmother wrote about the man she loved. Inside, Olivia was overwhelmed by conflicting feelings. The desire to understand who this man was, and the fear that the truth could destroy everything that remained. Why did you hide all this, Grandma? She whispered, looking at the lines. Why didn't you tell me the truth? At that moment, there was a knock at the door. Olivia flinched and slowly got up. On the threshold stood Ryan, her friend, whom she trusted more than anyone in the world. Hi, he said, noticing her anxious look. I found something. And Ryan handed her a photo. Olivia looked at the photo. Her heart began to beat faster. And it was a young woman with bright, lively eyes and a mysterious smile. Olivia squinted, peering at the familiar features. It was her mother, but next to her stood a man she had never seen before. It was as if everything around froze, and Olivia felt a cold wind pierce her soul. She remembered her grandmother's diary, the secret that ran through their family like the tip of a knife. Why had her mother never spoken about who this man was? What connected them to the disappearance that people whispered about behind their backs? Questions, like an unquenchable fire, filled her mind. Mom? What is she doing in this photo? She asked Ryan. Ryan looked at her intently. I think you need to talk to your mom, he said. Yes, I have to figure this out. I can't live in ignorance anymore. He took her hand. I'm with you. The next morning, when the sun's rays broke through the curtains, Olivia approached her mother, who was making breakfast. The smell of fresh bread and coffee filled the air, but for Olivia it was just background noise. She gathered her thoughts and, mustering her courage, asked, Mom, who is this man in the photo? Why have you never spoken about him? Her mother, freezing for a moment, turned to her daughter. In her eyes, Olivia saw a shadow she had never noticed before. As if an old wound had opened in her soul, she slowly sat down at the table, looking out the window where the sunlight played. That's your grandfather, she said quietly, as if afraid that these words could break an invisible thread. My father. A man, one of those who tried to expose a network of crimes involving corruption, extortion, and murders that controlled the power in the city. And his disappearance was a forced measure to save not only his own life, but the lives of many others. It was this secret that was the reason for his disappearance. He knew that his revelations could destroy an entire system, and so he chose the hardest path to disappear in order to save others. And grandmother, keeping this secret, passed it down through the years, hoping that one day the truth would come out. Your father, being connected to the authorities, learned about these attempts to expose the truth and influenced your grandfather's disappearance, making sure your grandmother was not harmed. My father left, got married, and then I was born. Many years later, when I came to this town, I met your father. Back then, I didn't know what secret from the past connected your grandfather and your father. And one day, when I was talking to his mother, your grandmother, whose diaries you are now reading, she showed me a photo where I saw my own father. That's how I learned what secret had been hidden for so many years. Soon after, your father found out that the man he once asked to disappear was my father. However, he didn't leave me. But the topic of your grandfather's disappearance and his involvement in it was never brought up again. So he did everything for us? Olivia asked quietly, looking at her mother. For our lives, our safety? Yes. But not because he wanted fame or recognition. He did everything for us. For our family. Then why did he hide all this? Olivia asked, feeling a tightness inside. Why didn't he tell me the truth? Her mother took her hand. He was afraid. He was afraid the truth would destroy everything we had built. In those years, the authorities were cruel. People disappeared without a trace and no one could protect themselves. Your father knew that if your grandfather's involvement became known, terrible consequences awaited him, your grandmother, and us. He had to make a hard choice, either stay silent and keep us safe or tell the truth and risk everything. But he could have at least told me. Olivia's voice trembled. He could have explained that it was all for protection. Her mother sighed. He wanted you to grow up safe. He thought that would be best. But I understand now that hiding everything was also a betrayal. He was afraid that if he revealed the truth, everything would fall apart. Olivia felt everything inside her turn upside down. In her heart, a spark of understanding was lit. On one hand, her grandfather, a true hero who fought against the system. On the other, her father, not just a man hiding secrets, but a real protector of their family. The truth, though painful, turned out to be more valuable than anything. She realized that the courage to face your fears is the only path to freedom and peace. The past was no longer a dark shadow hanging over her fate. Now she knew the whole truth about betrayal, about love, and about the heroism of those who fought for justice. And most importantly, she understood that honesty and love are not weaknesses, but strengths that can heal wounds and unite broken destinies. She remembered her mother's words, that only by revealing the truth can one find inner peace. And that's exactly what she did. She opened her heart, admitted to herself and the world that even the most painful secrets are part of her journey. And only by accepting them was she able to free herself from the weight of the past and start a new life. Olivia smiled, feeling a spark of hope ignite inside her. She knew that ahead lay new challenges, new joys, and new discoveries. But now she walked through life with the confidence that truth is the light that leads to true happiness. And at that moment, she understood the most important thing. Honesty and love are essential parts of human destiny. And only the courage to face your fears helps you find inner peace and appreciate every moment of life. This story is a reminder that even the deepest secrets and the darkest betrayals eventually come to light. Truth is not just words or facts, it is a spark that can ignite the fire of change and heal the wounds of the past. Sometimes, to find yourself and achieve inner peace, you must bravely face your fears, go through pain, and make difficult decisions. Only then can we understand that honesty and love are not weaknesses, but true strengths that lead us to freedom and happiness. If this story touched your heart, if you believe that truth can change destinies, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Here you'll find even more captivating stories, intriguing secrets, and inspiring discoveries. Don't miss out. Together we will open new horizons and learn to cherish every moment of life. Subscribe and stay with us because true strength is in the truth and it will always find its way to the light.